I've got my Ranger Raptor in the back, and I just recently installed an antenna on that for the GMRS radio. So I had to remove the interior light to install the antenna. Boy, what a mother. You go in here and you think this thing's gonna pop right out. You need a credit card. Like everything, you need a credit card. Everything's in place. I run this radio on my Grenadier. It's literally Velcroed in place. So I was really wanting a very, very discreet system, not a radio on the dash, not a bunch of stuff. And I've got this, and I find it easiest for me just to have the radio sitting about right here. Then when I'm not using it, I'm back to stock. So for the Ranger Raptor, I removed the power port in here, and we just installed an RJ45 connector from GME. The radio is discreetly mounted way out of the way. We don't need it for anything. And we pop that guy right in there. I've got this, and I'm gonna have my mount right here. I find it easiest for me just to have the radio sitting about right here. Then when I'm not using it, I'm back to stock. So super simple, super nice, whether you're putting this in your, like a Grenadier, a Sprinter, or my Ranger Raptor, or any vehicle for that fact. You need it, you pull it out, you're done. You can put it in, plug it in, and then when you're not, stick it out of the way. So it's not having to sit on your dash. So I had to remove the interior light on the Ranger Raptor to install the antenna. Boy, what a mother. You go in here and you think this thing's gonna pop right out. It does if you know how it works. There's two flanges going this way and there's two flanges going that way, and it seems like you can't get it out. You need a card. You need a credit card. Like everything, you need a credit card. This one's a Brewski's Bar and Arcade card though, so any card will work. Basically, you slide it up on the leading forward edge of the light. You're gonna hear it click. You pull the light down like this and out. All right, so you undo the light tab here and you pull it out. So what's crazy about it is when it's installed in there, if you're trying to pry it from down here, there's these two tabs here and there's these two tabs here, and you're like, how the hell do I get this thing out? You want to depress the tabs here. We're gonna go in with that card right here. Hard with it not being installed. And you can see I just pushed it up in there and it pulled this guy out, and it unhinges this out of the way. So that'll save you from screwing up your headliner. So that gave us premium access to the roof right here. The other interesting thing that we found out is the headliner, if you pull on it, there's magnets up there that hold it into place. You don't really need to do that, but let me tell you, we were pulling on this thing trying to get that damn light out without knowing about the credit card, and figured that out. But now you got access, you drill your hole, you do that. Now, to mount it back up, you're gonna do the same thing. So, clip it back on. We're gonna put this flange back in. The two tangs are gonna face forward. You gotta tuck in the headliner. If you try and force it, it's really not gonna go. What I found is just put the credit card back up in there, and it snaps it right back up into place. Super, super simple. I don't know if you know that these things can push on, push off. Again, credit card, front slot. Now this is between the lens and the bezel. Pop it up in there, drop it out, piece of cake. Credit card, boom, done. We installed a UHF, VHF dual band 2730 ICOM, and I'll show you where we've mounted the components. Everything's in place. Wasn't that big of a deal to run all the wires. It were fairly simple. We actually used a little bit of fish tape. I run this radio on my Grenadier, and pretty simple. I just mounted it up here in the sunglass case. I didn't make anything custom. It's literally Velcroed in place. This is hardwired directly through the dash into the main battery, so it can come on anytime. I might put it to one of the auxiliary switches just because it might be easier to just turn the radio on and off there. There's gonna be basically a wire that runs to the main unit. And the main unit we mounted in the seat in the back. And then there's a coax for the antenna up on the roof. That antenna might need to be moved out. It is set up for GMRS frequencies. I'm gonna try it on the VHF frequencies. If it works, I'm gonna run it. If not, I'll probably have to invest in a different antenna. Here's the handset. And from the handset, set, we're running an RJ45 from the center console, which was pretty easy to pull off the center console. We basically pulled off the bezel for the shifter right here. Once you get this off, there's screws underneath it, and then this whole thing kind of pops out, and then you can access the 12-volt power port. I removed the 12-volt power port. I left it plugged in, and there's really no harm in it sitting underneath there because it's still plugged in. It's not hurting anything. And I can just take this guy, pop that into here, and it's gonna sit out here like that. I'm gonna get a magnetic mic. I run those in all my vehicles, and I'm just gonna have the mic sit right here so that when we're on the trail, either the passenger can access it or I can access it while I'm driving, and it's fairly convenient for me. And then when I'm done with it, I just set it over here and the magnetic mic will pull it into shape. And when I'm not using it, I can either throw it right into the center console like that. If I'm worried about it getting damaged, I can just unplug this, throw it into a different bag or something like that. So I was really wanting a very, very discreet system on it, like not a radio on the dash, not a bunch of stuff. And I felt like this was a fairly good setup. This was pretty simple to come down. I did have to drill one hole in this to run the wire through, and then I just Velcroed that piece. I got my two sides on there so I can monitor two frequencies at one time, and then I can switch back and forth between the two. And then let's take a look at where the main body is in the back. We're making a little bracket. It kind of looks like a Molle panel, but it's not. It's not Molle, but it's just a universal mounting panel. I did choose the driver's side to mount it, mainly because the jack's over here. I didn't want to have things over here. Right now we're completely stock. So this is bone stock. And here's this panel, and you can kind of make out the panel right here. We're still allowing for the child protection in here. There's a fan right here to cool the unit. There's the two cables coming out. One of these goes to the handset, which is the RJ45, and then I forget what the other one is, like RJ5 or whatever. It's just a smaller cable. That one goes up to the faceplate, which is up on the column. And then this guy here, that's my coax. Here's my power. The one thing I like about this position is it's pretty accessible, and then it's also fairly open. You can see I can put my fingers in behind it. The radios, they do generate a bit of heat, so you want to have a little bit of movement around them, and the fan is right here. This panel came out really nice. You can see where we tie into the two bolts here, the one up there, and then this is just universal. It's got slots and a few holes in it and allows you just to kind of bolt it down. Now when you're buying this, you will have to buy this bracket here separately. I think I bought it on Amazon, and it was like 20 bucks additional, and it allows you to just have a U-bracket. For some reason, this radio does not come with this. And then for the faceplate up top, it was just Velcro. But I'm not gonna put an external speaker. I'm not a big fan of external speakers. And with this back here, it's worked out okay. So we'll see as it develops. I might end up taking out this rear seat, doing something like that. If I do a seat delete, the locations might change, but all this stuff is completely modular, all plug and play. These cables are real easy to get. You can get longer ones. We make them here at the shop. So we just have one of the techs here that makes them. Bulkhead fittings, for running this into a panel. We sell those, all that stuff, super easy to get. Makes for a nice clean installation. So you can buy the radio, you can bring it to us, we'll install it for you. I'm gonna try out this antenna. One thing on the antennas that I've been told is I don't want my antenna next to another aerial antenna. I believe the measurement was about, they said roughly 16 inches. I think that my distance between the top there is pretty decent. So should be good. We'll try it out. We're taking this rig out for 2 or 3 days next week with a bunch of other rigs, and we'll see how it works. So thanks, happy trails.